Okay. Now, in your Fiverr thing, did you say any extra information? I can't remember. Like, do you have
No, I
anything
didn't.
particular?
I didn't type it, but I think I know what I have to focus on. But
Okay.
I didn't type it on the Fiverr.
So what do you think you have to focus on?
I think my biggest flaw in the early game is to make something like a proactive plan to approach the game.
Hmm.
And in the mid game, I have super high issues catching side lanes, catching side waves. Mm, I don't know if it's only when I play without TP,
Yeah.
but when I play with TP, it's also hard for me to see when to stay grouped and wait to actually go to the side lane. I feel I lose a lot of EXP and CS in the mid game.
Yeah, okay. Do you normally what's your OPGG? Can you link it to me?
Yeah, I'll link it to you.
Because like it's definitely hard to side lane on Zoe, for example. Like you can obviously get some fun, but it's gonna be way harder than if you're playing a side laning champion. So I was curious like what other champs you played.
Yeah, I'll link both of my accounts. I have
Okay.
a Smurf accounting masters where I basically play the Zoe and other champs.
Yeah.
Like I don't usually play Zoe on main, but with current buffs, I will start playing her.
Yeah.
But I have some games on my Smurf, so I'll link it to you as well.
Okay. Okay.
Here's my main.
Oh wait, yeah, you linked this to me before. I'm
Yeah,
dumb.
but I'll send you the Smurf as well.
Okay, so you play
Here it is.
Ori Vex TF Victor, and then your Smurf 450 abuser. What is this? Oh wow, you've been going a bit crazy on the Zoe. Okay, yeah, we'll definitely have a look at that. Okay, so you're playing. So recently you've just played a lot of Zoe and TF basically. Oh, your main's
Yeah,
almost 600 points. You're kind of popping off. What's challenger on EU? Like 800 or something?
it's like 800 and something.
Yeah.
I almost hit it like 3 weeks ago or something like that.
All
I
right.
was 100 LP away, but I dropped another 100.
Okay,
Yeah,
well, so you're playing Zoe versus Ori. So I think, yeah, it's a hard matchup to be honest, but like you can definitely win it. It's just Ori favored. I assume you have like Time Warp Tonic in this matchup.
yeah, I think I'm running Time Warner Biscuits.
Yeah, okay. It's definitely good to have in this matchup. Okay, so let's see. This is really smart, ordering the wave early. Really smart. I like that. You get a lot of prior for free over him. Good movement, good movement. You know the enemy jungler started bot side. So far you're popping off. Good cooldown punish as well. Kind of expected. Okay. Normally I think leveling E level 2 on Zoe is better. I think after the W got changed to where most of the spells you pick up with W sort of suck now, you know? Like it used to be
Yeah,
before there was like Proto Belt which was super broken. You could get like GLP which is really broken, but now
yeah.
unless
There's no
yeah.
redemption anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Redemption was another one. It's like now unless you
Hmm.
get Ignite, it's just not that useful. So I always skill E at level 2 on Zoe. Probably won't make a difference, but maybe. Now, this point in the
Hmm.
lane, you need to be like really, really careful in the 1v1 because, so like at level 2, Orianna obviously takes QW. It's going to be like really easy for her to harass. So I think you should probably just look to auto this wave and not Q it until your creeps are all the way up here. I think every time you Q, like you're going to take a lot of damage, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
I think the way you can know it is just like, I think, yeah, you crashing two waves is probably better. But I think at this point in the wave, it's like you have a minion advantage, and these minions are a bit low, and you can auto attack this one without getting harassed. So you should probably know that this is going to crash anyway. And I think you can just chill out because the only reason she can do this to you basically is because you make like a really predictable move, right? Like it's really obvious that you're
Mhm.
gonna move forward. Like there's no way to really dodge it. You're kind of committed to it, but I don't even think you have to do that. Like you're not in any rush, really. But it's like not that much HP, so it's kind of a small thing. So you come here, this will be a perfect ward. Nice, nice. He's pulling the wave. I actually think that's kind of good for you. So I'm surprised you did that.
Is it?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking like normally, like Ori's not a champion that really like chases you down the wave, you know? And I feel like if the wave's in this spot for you, it does make you gankable, but I can't remember it was like Diana, right? Like it's not really a ganking champ.
Yeah.
If they had something like Lee Sin, maybe, but I actually think this is like kind of good for you. So I'm surprised she did that. But okay, yeah, like okay, now not having E actually hurts you quite a lot because I
Why?
think if you have E, like it should be real hard for her to get back to lane here. Yeah, like now that you don't have E, it's real hard. Also, I'm gonna also a couple times, so I'm actually gonna go back a bit. There's a couple times where you've like graded your Q forward. So this one I think is not too bad because it's like sort of hard to rely on like throwing a Q backwards and hitting one here because it's like just so far away, right? But I think here, when it's like very obvious where Orianna's gonna walk, you can easily just like Q behind you and just like walk it at her. So I think this, it just doesn't really do much damage. I think you could have done a bit more. And also, yeah, if you have E there, you can probably kill her. I
Yeah.
think now, yeah, I mean, this wave is gonna crash, I would say. I think you can just order this wave, but I probably wouldn't use any spells now because you need to be super careful. Because if you do use
Mhm.
spells, like she can definitely punish. Yeah, so I think this Q isn't even that good, in my opinion. So, well, I guess that Q is fine. Yeah, I guess this Q is fine because she doesn't have her ball out. So there's no way she can reach you. But I would just be very careful in general about using your cooldowns right
Mhm.
now. You'll be... Yeah, actually, I guess you
Yeah, I
did
shouldn't be
get
taking
punished.
this. I shouldn't.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like, if you had Q, you probably get this. But if you don't have Q, to be honest,
Yeah.
what you did, the first part of it is actually good. Like, if you move here, and get her QW and you willingly give up the creep, that's like the best. Like if you move here, she QWs and you
Yeah.
dodge it and you only give one creep, that's super, super good for you. But yeah, if you like take... Oh, wait, what the fuck? How did you hit that, by the way? Okay, so you actually kill her, but I do think it was
Yeah.
pretty lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
So I think here,
Like I'm
yeah.
basically trading one CS for a QW.
Yeah, but it's like really good if you can bait out her QW, you know? So if like you're
Yeah.
looking to kind of like bait out her skills when you're going for a CS that you know you can't really contest, that's super good. But then here, yeah, you would be pretty fucked, I think, if this didn't hit. But it does, so you should be in a really good spot now. That's definitely a kill. There's no way you can get out. Okay, so that's super awesome. You base, probably Dark Seal boots. Yep, okay, nice. Very nice.
Do you think Lucidity Boots would have been a greater purchase here?
Mm, I'm actually not sure. I definitely would have done the same base as you, but I'm not sure what's correct. I think kind of probably not because well, it depends what boots you're gonna go.
I was thinking about going Mercs against Diana
Hmm.
or Rakan.
I think you want
So
MR, but I'm not sure you actually want Mercs because like the only actual CC is Rakan. But I think you definitely want MR. Maybe the best buy is like you buy Dark Seal and Null Magic, you know, just like the 450 MR. I think that
yeah,
actually maybe is the best because it'd make you a lot
yeah,
tankier.
maybe. Yeah, and I don't get out of base with 300 gold basically.
Yeah. Yeah, it probably is better. So I think Dark Seal Null Magic probably goes a long way. You come
Okay,
back to
okay.
lane. And this is good. You should get to reset this wave. Oh, you got an
Ori
exhaust. Oh,
drops
wait.
bot
Ori
here.
went bot.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, she pushed and went bot.
Kind of insane. Did she just... She's just roaming to a lane with full sums and full HP. And they have Vayne Rakan. I don't even get how this works. Like, I'm trying to look at the minimap. So, Nautilus used Q on Rakan. And then I guess Vayne condemned. Yeah. I wouldn't have expected that roam, to be honest. So I'm not... Yeah, I don't know. That's very weird. And to be honest, it's not super great for her either. Like, she is going to lose a lot for it. I think here, you should... Yeah, I think here you should be looking to get kind of like your wards down. So you can make it really difficult for Ori to get back to mid if you go and like pink this dot bush and then like ward the raptor bush. And I think also it's just like, what else can you really do with your prior, you know? Like you're coming here, but
Yeah,
I don't think you
I
can
cannot
really
fulfill.
harass. Yeah. It would be a really good time to ward now because like, well, one, it'll mean you get to harass Orianna when she comes back and then not have to ward. And yeah, you could have got really deep wards, I think, as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Agree. Yeah, I think this is one of my biggest flaw to look at a productive plays when I have the tempo over the
Yeah.
enemy.
I think the easiest way to like get into the habit of it is whenever you start pushing a new wave, try and decide like pretty early what you're gonna use the prior for. Like I think you can realize probably about now like what you want to do with this wave. And then so like by the time it dies, or to be honest, you should already be moving towards what you want to do. So let's say you want to like ward this dot bush like down here. I think like right now you can be positioning. Oh, I actually need my epic pen. That'll make this easier. I forgot about this.
Yeah, like in the bot side of the lane, right?
Yeah, yeah. Where is? How the fuck do I get to that? By the way, where is it? Oh, over here. Okay. So how do I draw? Yeah, so like you can already be here, right? And CSing this, and
Yeah.
that way you get to the dot bush like a tiny bit faster. Wait, now how do I go back to clicking? Okay, like that. So yeah, if you like plan ahead of time, you can definitely be like a lot more efficient than you are. But I mean, it's not. Yeah, well, no, it's pretty bad that you didn't get down your wards, to be honest. Because now you kind of have to. Now you have to do like a pretty shallow ward when I think this should be way deeper. Like if this is a ward on the Raptors, it gives your team a lot more info. And also I think
Yeah.
it's probably better if you pink this and then Nautilus pinks bot, or if Nautilus pinks this, then you could pink deeper. Did Nautilus pink that? Okay, Nautilus pinked that for you, which is okay. But that means now you need to try find something else to do with your pink. So I guess like top river, or like maybe that like bush where the plant is, the vision plant. So you're back the wave. I think you can. I think you should actually look pretty. Yeah, yeah. I think you maybe could have done this earlier. I think you're. Let's
I
see.
think I'm waiting for the grace here.
Yeah, yeah. Trying to see. So like, yeah. No, I guess it makes sense to wait for Graves. I think maybe you went a little bit too early as well. So it doesn't matter. Actually, no. I guess you're about right. Actually, I think you maybe shouldn't have used your Q at all because it's like you.
Yeah.
If you keep your Q, I think it's guaranteed damage. If your Q one-shots this back wave, I think it's different, but it won't one-shot it yet. So I think if you keep your Q here, you basically have a guaranteed Q with your exhaust. You exhaust. Also, I think the bubble, okay, it's like obviously a mechanical thing, right? But I also think just in general, you know when you play like a champ like Zoe or like LeBlanc or something, if you hold the spell, normally people just like juke themselves to death, you know? Like here,
Yeah.
I think if you just like auto attack him a couple times, he's literally just gonna like move back and forth without really going anywhere, and then you can use the bubble. But if you use the bubble too early, it's like way easy for him to play. And also, yeah, I think if you had Q, you probably still don't kill him. So it's mainly gonna be about hitting the bubble. But it would have got him lower, obviously.
Okay, do you think I should hold it even though she's in the smoke screen thing?
No. Oh, here. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
If
she
you're like,
sees me
I
from here,
think,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just like she should know the bubble's coming. I think, or well, it's up to you. Like if you're super confident, you can hit that. But I also think it's like if you just wait for her to commit to a direction, it's so easy. You know, like if she walks down
Yeah.
here, you
Yes.
hit her,
Yes.
and if she walks here, you also kill her. So it's like it is sort of hard to realize it. I guess it just like comes with more
Yeah.
Zoe games. Yeah, whenever you play
Yeah.
champs like Zoe and LeBlanc, people just always instantly try and dodge your E, and then it's a lot easier. Also, I think if you'd had that Raptor ward from before, you might have been able to kill Diana here. Because it looks like Diana's passing to her Raptors, and their Orianna's like 1 HP, and like you and Graves could probably invade Diana here, but you don't have that ward. Like if you'd pinked this earlier and then warded the Raptors, I think yeah maybe
Yeah.
you kill Diana right here. Quite hard to say because we can't see what Diana's doing, but I think it's like actually pretty high chance.
Yeah, I
So
think we kill her for sure. He should be there.
yeah, I think so because she's not on Krug. So like, what else could she possibly be doing? Okay, I don't really like this. This is more Orianna. Well, not just Orianna. So against mages where they have like some damage that's like I guess like okay, against like Syndra and Ori, for example, whenever you are forward, it's guaranteed you get hit, basically, right? For like a large chunk of your health. Whereas like against champs like say Vex, you're not guaranteed to take a bunch of damage for ulting forward. So when you're against those sort of mages, it's normally better that you just rather than looking to ult with bubble, it's better to like kill the back wave so they have nothing to stand behind. And then just look to throw bubble, just like regularly without your R. Another thing you
Okay.
can do is like versus Orianna specifically, you can dodge her R with your R if you keep it. She's not level 6 yet, obviously, but something you could think about. So I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, you took the tower shot, which is the main damage, but
Yeah, I took shot or shot.
you could get honey for here probably. Yeah, I don't think you want to base here. I think at this point in the lane, it's like okay, well actually let's go back. So like at this point in the lane, right? You have so much control. So if Orianna ever gets to base before you, something is like really, really wrong. Like you can keep her pinned to her tower basically with low health and low mana, and she doesn't have the way to like kill you. So like doing this is really good. Because like she's gonna take a lot of like she's gonna have to use a lot of mana. She can't really harass you. So like ulting forward, losing like half your health, that was a big problem. Also, just in general, like there's another thing going on here, which is like the mana, right? So like you can if you just keep spamming waves with Q and she has to CS them with like QE, like multiple Qs and multiple Es, you can probably run her out of mana before you run out of mana. But again, it's like you invest like here you invest 120 mana for nothing, and you also lose a bunch of HP. So now resource wise, rather than you being ahead and like keeping her pinned under tower and it just being unplayable, now she's actually sort of back in the game. But yeah, here I'd probably pick up the honey fruit, although maybe you don't realize it's there.
Nah, I never think about the honey
Yeah.
fruits, honestly.
Okay, I'm like kind of glad you stayed. But you should just realize like how fucked this is, right? Like
Yeah,
you
I realized now, like, okay, she was super low, and I had a huge advantage. What happened here?
yeah,
I thought it right now.
yeah, yeah. That's good that you realize. Yeah, like okay, this point in the lane is quite tough, I think. Like when Orianna hits 6, it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
But you're ahead enough, or you should be ahead enough in terms of resources that you can just like get through here without really dying. Yeah, so again, I don't really like going for the R. I think you're already in such a good spot here where like you can just either harass her from over a wall. So maybe like make sure your R is behind this wall here, but then like maybe you can't reach her. But just versus like Orianna and Syndra, and maybe like Lucian as well, like the champions that are really good in lane against Zoe, the dream scenario for them is that you ult forward. So like this, yeah, it's like actually the worst case scenario for you pretty much. You like lose all your health again. Now you
Yep.
could do this if you do want to do this, you need to try combo with something, like if you ult forward with your locket, if you ult forward with exhaust, or if you have some other sum that can make it like a little bit better for you, then I think it's fine. Like actually, if you walk up, like she can't kill you here, right? If you just walk up, pick this up, and then on the next wave you do what you did now, then it looks like way different, right? Because if she uses her ult into your locket shield, you're probably gonna take like no damage. So
Yeah.
yeah, you were, I guess, a bit lucky with the locket, but I think you could have done a lot there. This is kind of weird. What happened here? So you have Ophelio skanking mid. Okay, I like that. I mean, that turned out pretty bad. Okay, so let's see. I think there's a couple things. So the first thing is that if you're really paying attention, but to be honest, I probably wouldn't realize this in the moment, but if you're really paying attention, like you know that the enemy bot lane died, and that your Nautilus is he's like, okay, Rakan has respawned and Nautilus hasn't
Yeah.
yet based. So Rakan's going to be here before Nautilus. So that is like something you can realize, but admittedly, I think it's like quite hard. But if you're like really aware, you can do it, right? So this is like, it's kind of scary because if you look at Naut just coming out of base, it's like a pretty high chance that Rakan is here because Rakan's not done, right? He's not going to path the bot. I guess maybe the only thing that's confusing is normally you'd expect Rakan to show on this pink, right? Um,
Mhm.
but even when that happens, I think again, it's kind of the ulting forward that makes this a bit hard for you. Because if it's like, okay, the way he's walking now, he doesn't have ult. I can't remember if he has flash, but
She does.
oh, she has flash? Okay. Yeah, well, maybe you just can't walk into her. Like, you're reliant on hitting a bubble.
Mhm.
Actually, I guess maybe the way you can do this is like, okay, you queue these creeps, you maybe auto one of them, and then try and like get an E between these. I think, yeah, just in general, like versus Ori and stuff, it's like super hard to ult forward like this. And then, I mean, I think you play it after that basically as well as you possibly can. Your first dies. This is a really, really bad death for your team. Like, it's not too bad for you. Actually, no, it's pretty bad for you. You lose your flash and ignite. And in another thing for Zoe is that like when you're playing kind of like a more all-in mid laner versus like a poke mid laner like Ori, if you lose your all-in threat, so if you lose your flash ignite, it becomes really hard because you don't have any threat anymore, right? So even though
Mhm.
Orianna
Yeah.
lost her flash, like so did you, but she's in a way better spot than you now because she should know that you have no threat basically for 3 minutes. Also, your feelers lost the ball wave. Yeah, I guess like the main thing to realize here is that how far away your support is. But also, I think if you had played it mechanically better, maybe it just like wouldn't have happened. Like if you just move to where this creep is and try E, like maybe you can kill her that way. But it is quite hard, right? Like it's just a real hard situation to play out. But I mean, at least you don't die. You get all this
Yeah, I guess
farm.
I shouldn't get to a point where a mechanical
Yeah,
skill should decides the outcome of the game. I
yeah.
guess.
I think there's like it's like both. Like ideally, you're not in the position, but also if you get in the position, you need to execute it really well, right? Like that's like what a player like Caps can do. Is like
Yeah, yeah.
Caps
Okay.
oftentimes puts himself in situations that are like, he has to fucking play real
Yeah.
well, but he normally does play really well. So yeah, I think when that sort of stuff happens, you should just like review it and try and think about it from both ways. Like, is there any way I can not put myself in this situation? But then also, if I do end up in this situation, like, how do I absolutely just like play it the best as possible? Now, going back to
Yep.
this base, I think, yeah, now it's like I'm not sure you can buy Lost Chapter here. So the only reason is that, like, again, both their AP mid jungles have gotten, yeah, both AP and mid jungle, they're both pretty fed, and you still have no MR, even though you're against a double AP mid jungle. So I would say, obviously, like, if you can get that null magic on an earlier base, it would be good. But even though I would say Merc Treads aren't really the buy this game, I almost feel like you might have to buy them. Otherwise, your lane might become super hard. I'm kind of interested to see how the lane goes, but from my point of view, you seem like in a really, really rough spot here.
Yeah, I think it doesn't go very well.
I mean, that was good, I guess. There's Diana. I mean, the nice thing is if you do get lost chapter, you can kind of just like permanently clear the wave at your tower. Yeah, this is quite bad. I think,
This queue is super bad. Yeah.
yeah, but I think in general, like the problem here is that I don't think you want to contest prior because it's like, if you can manage to push the wave all the way under, that's really good, right? But like she should be so much stronger than you, knowing that like the only way you can push this is by using spells, and if you use spells, like it's really easy for her to harass you. I don't think you should be able to get prio on this wave. And like even if you do, like if you like right now, if she just freezes, I'm not sure what you can really do about it. Like she's pushing the wave back to you, but I don't think she needs to. It's like
Yeah.
you have no
If she freezes,
flash. Yeah,
yeah.
and once she gets ult, you're just dead, I'm pretty sure. So I think that the bigger mistake is just realizing that you shouldn't really be able to get mid prio anymore because you're like weaker 1v1. I think your jungle's weaker 1v1 as well, and you have no sum. So it's like if your mid jungle is super weak and you're like you don't have your flash, it's just naturally gonna be hard to push. But like it's okay, right? Like if she pushes to you like she's doing now, that's super good for you. You're gonna get all this farm for free. And I would say in solo queue, like Zoe kind of outscales Ori. You know, it shouldn't be that way. Like Ori outscales Zoe normally, but I think just because of solo queue being like so chaotic, like you can be pretty happy just like trading farm at this point. I think anyway. This is good though. If you do play it like this, like okay, it's arguable. Well, there's like a couple things. First off, Diana shows top, and she went half HP and no ult, so your jungler is actually stronger right now. So you can contest prior now, I think. But it's still hard in the 1v1. But clearing from this, like where you can play like without using your ult and you can play away from her ball, that's pretty smart. This is hard to do, but you know, it's like pretty high skill, but allows you to get prior on a wave that like maybe you shouldn't. That's kind of cool. The only bad thing is again, I feel like if she freezes the wave, you could be, well, it's like a long time for her to freeze it, but it could be kind of hard. Yeah, I guess it's too long for her to freeze it. So you roam bot. I don't think the roam is very good, to be honest.
Do you think I should stay in graveside?
Yeah, well, just like looking at it, it's like, okay, the good thing about this is that the enemy bot lane's like shoved under tower, and I'm assuming they don't have many sums. But if you just like look at you, you also don't have any sums. And like you said, like Graves is on the top side. Like if you used your prior here to walk with Graves, I think this looks so much better. It's hard
Yeah.
to say all the time because like obviously if these guys are a free kill, then that's great, right? But I mean, yeah, like if these guys are literally 2 free kills, then you walk down here and the game just ends because you've killed your AD carry. But it looks like, yeah, it looks like if you played a Graves, it would have been better. Also, maybe if Orianna doesn't have TP, this still works. Because it's like, okay, just like imagine Ori's not there, Vayne dies, and then you can probably like get a feelers out. Yes, this kind of becomes rough because of that. I think you just play towards Graves, mainly because you don't have any sums. I think you kind of just like have to play a bit with your jungler. Because if you had made this play and you had Ignite, you would have killed Ori, right? It
Yeah, I
looks
think
like
so.
she dies. Yeah,
Yeah, she
yeah,
dies.
you
She
would have
dies
killed her.
100%.
But it's still kind of like you're not behind. It's just like you said, like you're struggling to make proactive plays. Like your proactive plays haven't really been that good, but you're not really behind. I guess you're a little bit behind Ori, but I mean you're fine. She doesn't have flash. It's like same time as yours. So this could maybe be a kill. Oh, Diana's here. It's a bit unlucky. Oh yeah, so you bought Merc Treads. So this is kind of up to you. I think I would say I think it's better to buy Null Magic Mantle and build Sork Shoes because yours is solo AP. But if you do want Mercs, well, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's not quite optimal. Like, you want MR, but you don't really want Tenacity. Like, the only person Tenacity is really useful against is Rakan. And I think as Zoe, you can play away from Rakan in team fights. Like, you can play over walls and stuff. So I think the Merc Treads, they're not that great. I think just buy some MR and buy Sork Shoes. You can always build the MR into, like, Banshees or something later if you really
Yeah,
feel like you need it.
I realized later that Banshees in this game is, I think it's super valuable for me because no one really pops it super
Yeah,
easy. Like they have Bane, Diana, you know.
yeah, yeah.
Every spell I block is going to be valuable. I think I end up building it, and I think it's pretty trash to build Mercs and Banshees.
Yeah, yeah. No, I definitely agree.
Yeah, I realized later about that.
How did this happen? Okay, I see. So this is kind of, well, no, I think you can recognize it. So the main thing here is that you're hugging the wrong side of safety. I think it's
Yeah,
tempting
okay.
to like hug bot side because your support was just here. But if you just look in this freeze frame, right? It's like your jungler is top and your only vision is top. So like you should be hugging here. And I think the best habit to get into is that when the new waves meet, just like quickly look at the map and think about like which side is weak side and strong side. And like here, if you look right, bot side's like clearly weak side. You like really don't want to hug down there. So I think if like let's see, if you'd gotten this exhaust and you'd done this from top side, like okay, let's imagine you're like up here. You pick up the exhaust and then you go back
Yeah, I'm
here.
fine. I'm
Yeah,
completely
because it
fine, I
looks like
think.
Ori doesn't have ult, and I don't think Diana has flash or anything, right? Because it looks like when Diana goes on you here, like she literally just walks up to you. You know, I don't think she has flash or anything. So yeah, I think if you do this from the other side of the lane, you're like completely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that would be this one is easier to recognize than the other ones. Like I think the other one, knowing like talking about like the support tempo and stuff, that's pretty hard. But I think this one is like actually pretty easily avoidable. I think you should definitely be able to realize like when the new wave comes, just like checking which side's weak side and strong side and making sure you're hugging correctly. I guess that's like a hard habit to kind of build up, but once you get it, it's just like something you'll be able to do all the time, you know? So this one's like really easy to avoid, or like will be easy for you to work on, I guess. Who got the kill, by the way?
It was Diana's Q.
Oh yeah. You come back. Now you don't buy a pink, which I think is kind
Yeah,
of bad. Yeah, I
I
don't
should
think
have
you should
taken
buy a pink every base. Like, I don't think you, in solo queue especially, you don't want to spam too many pinks because otherwise you just run out of gold. But I think if you don't have any pink on the map, like your pink, it's a good idea just to buy one because it makes playing the lane like a lot easier if you have
it.
somewhere to hug to. And I think here, oh my god, oh my god, yeah, I think you kind of did the same thing here. Like, I think you're moving towards your weak side rather than your strong side. And to be honest, you got so lucky that you clicked back towards here because it looks like Rakan would have killed you.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
shit, that would scare me, man. That actually would have jump scared me. But yeah, it's like same problem as before. Like you should be playing towards your strong side here. You don't have any vision bot side. You have a little bit of vision top side in your graves. It's actually so funny. That Rakan must think you're a faker or something, man. You just know to click back.
Yeah.
And then I think also if you were here with Graves, maybe you kill this Urgot because it looks like Urgot just like fights Graves. I can't really tell, but it looks like Urgot's actually just chasing him through the jungle. I think if you were there, you probably would have killed this guy.
Yeah, I think we could have killed him easily.
Okay.
I feel like I got super lost in this game because I usually play towards the strong side
Hmm.
and towards. I mean, if they play top side strong, we respect bot. For example, I would have given this dragon, but
Hmm.
I don't know why I felt like I lost the thread of the game, the flow of the game.
Yeah,
You
I
know.
know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. I
Mm,
feel like, hmm. Yeah, I mean, that
mm,
sometimes happens to me if I like die at weird times, but I'm not sure. I feel like that hasn't happened that much this game. So I'm not too sure. Maybe it's because like I don't know, maybe you need to think about like the wind conditions a bit more or something. Or
yeah,
yeah, I don't know, because like looking at this drag, it just looks like super troll to contest because it's like,
yeah. It
well,
is. It is
the one
absolutely.
good thing you have is that Aphelios has Prior of Evade, and if they didn't have ults, you probably could fight this like 3v3 while Vayne's still bot, but like they have Oriole and Diana all right, so I think they do anyway. Yeah.
I die for free here.
Now that's a very tilting death. I'd be very frustrated after that. But yeah, it's like if you give this drag, like what do they get? To be honest, they're actually I
Nothing.
don't even think they should do drag. Like looking at this, to trade evenly with top, they like have to dive bot. So if they do drag, it's like
Yeah, yeah. It's
you should
super
be
good for
super
us.
happy, yeah. Like this is so
It's
good for
I
your
get
early
mid
game.
prio. I even get mid prio if they do dragon.
Yeah. Yeah, so they made like a huge mistake. You kind of you die. What do you lose off this? You lose a cannon wave mid, lose one plate.
Bot dice.
Yeah, bot lane, this is like a weird one because it's like it's not really I mean it's not your fault at all. But there's also a chance that if that hadn't happened, like maybe they wouldn't have died. I don't know, it's kinda hard to think about. I think most likely if the bot lane pushes too far, they just die anyway. But yeah. But definitely you could have avoided your own death. Orianna got a bit more gold. Yeah, now Orianna's quite far ahead of you. Yeah, mid pro. I think yeah, you kind of just
Yeah.
gotta catch waves at tower for a bit.
Do you think I should, for example, if this was a competitive game instead of
Hmm.
solo queue, do you think Aphelios should go mid after taking bot tower and I should go side against Orianna Diana?
Um, honestly, probably not. Like I think in competitive, Zoe normally gets to just AFK mid. Um,
Yeah.
but in solo queue, that like pretty much never happens from my experience. So, like, I don't know if you've ever watched Chovy play Zoe, for example, but he literally just sits mid, and whoever his AD carry is just has to side lane. I think, like, if you look at the enemy champs, right, like, say it was like Zoe Nautilus versus Vayne Rakan on the mid wave, there should be no way they can contest you. So it should be that, like, you can use your mid prior to help Aphelios push the side lane. But I feel like it's just, like, it's way too high level macro for solo queue, you know? Like, it's just not gonna happen. People aren't gonna wait. They're just gonna, like, die. So you just kind of gotta pick up farm kind of where you can. Oh, you actually walked on the bubble. Okay, I mean, you got a ton of gold there. Did you, just wondering about your first flash. Was your first flash necessary?
I think I flashed away of Diana
Yeah, I
ult.
think you can just
But
ult this, right? Like, I think you should be thinking a bit more about using your ult to dodge
yeah,
stuff. Because I think,
yeah,
yeah, like, Diana ult or Ori ult
that's
both can
right.
be dodged. You do, yeah, again, it's like another Zoe specific thing. But if you keep your flash here, like, let's just say you're the same HP, but you have flash. It's like, you could, yeah, you could double flash on this Ori with your bubble. Whether or not you would hit it, you know, who knows? But, um, or you would just have flash. Like, maybe you don't even need a double flash, you know, you can just keep your flash.
Yeah, you can just ult out for sure.
Yeah.
That's right.
Now this, I think what you're doing here is pretty bad after this. I think here, you need to, like, look at the map and try run to a side lane as quick as possible. Like, you sharing gold with 5 people mid, this is, like, so bad. You need, and, like,
Yeah.
both your side waves are crashing as well. To be honest, if you were, like, really, really aware, maybe at this point, you just run bot, you know? Like, if you were super aware, I mean, I would have flashed after him too, like, don't get me wrong. But I think if you're, like, really aware and you realize that both your side waves are crashing, you can, you should, like, run and get farm here, because it's like, your team doesn't need 5 people to siege mid, and whatever gold you get here, it's probably less than if you guys had caught your 2 sideways, because you lost the whole wave bot, and it looks like you lost maybe 2 stacked waves top. So you guys
Yeah,
lost a
yeah,
lot
around
for
that.
doing this. Is this gonna kill you? You have red buff.
Yeah, I don't know. She
Wow,
destroys
holy
me anyway.
shit. She's actually so fast. How can you know? I mean, yeah. I guess the main thing is, like, you shouldn't even be here for a start.
Yeah, I should recall 100%.
Yeah, it's like you either recall, spend all your gold. Well, ideally, it's like you've already been bought, you pushed out bot, then you base recall. And yeah, I guess this is pretty greedy in general with, like, 1900 gold and no
Yeah,
sums.
it is. It is. And my team is backing,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
I
kind of
guess
troll.
there's a lot of reasons it's kind of troll.
Yeah, 18 tempo and these
If
things.
you had flash though, at least you'd live. Okay. Coming back on the map. So you can't farm bot because Wukong's farming bot. Felix is dead though, so you get to farm the mid wave, which is nice. You still get to get some CS. That's the good thing about your AD carry dying. So Wukong died bot 2. You come bot and farm it. I think that's fine.
Do you think I should take another one?
Let's
Another
see.
wave?
Let me go back a bit. So we see Rakana mid. We see Diana pathing bot side. Vayne is low. You see Diana right now. Yeah, I think you can. I think when you see Diana on those Raptors, you can probably take another wave. Also, though, I think having Sweeper on Zoe, if you are going to side lane, well, I don't know. I like Sweeper on Zoe, but if you're going to be playing side lane, you kind of need Yellow Trinket. Otherwise, you can't really push, you know? But I think you had enough
Yeah.
time here where you saw Diana. But just generally, like, it's pretty hard to push the side lane without any vision. Yeah. No, I think you could push this because Vayne's low. You see Diana. Urgot's top. So yeah, you can probably get one more wave. And yeah, this leads to a pretty rough situation again. Because actually, if you push that bot wave... Okay, yeah, I think if... Say right now you have Yellow Trinket, right? You clear this wave, you push one more, and now you're, like, in this bot river. Like, you should have control of the drag. And also, they will have lost the bot wave, but instead, they have full control of the river. And it's really hard for you to retake it. So yeah, I actually think if you'd pushed that extra wave, it would have turned into a pretty big deal for your team. You would have got you would have got a lot off it. So, I mean, at least you got the drag. I mean, you catch the wave of the tower, which is pretty much all you can do. This is maybe a little greedy, but it's fine. Wait, let's go back. Where did we see Diana? Did we see Diana at all?
I think she bad spot.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, walking the top side if Diana's there is really greedy, but yeah, I think you're right. Looks like she walked bot.
Mhm.
Oh my god. I think just at this point in the game as well, it can be if you do want to like check a side where you're not sure where people are, you should look to ult first. So
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
would just like ult from maybe like the middle of the lane, or no, I guess you have to be a bit closer. Maybe like here or something. And just or even just like either bushes and stuff. I think just literally face checking bushes is super scary, and you're basically just lucky Diana isn't there. Yeah, I think she definitely could be there. I mean, maybe she's
Yeah,
basing to clear her
she could. She
camps,
could.
but you don't know that. Oh, wait, she was on Herald the whole time. So she actually, I guess she walked topside.
Oh,
But
okay. Okay.
no, maybe you're okay. Like maybe you know that Diana needs to like do her camps. Like she spent a long
Yeah, but
time pressuring.
in my thought process, I didn't think about that in game,
Yeah,
honestly.
sure.
So I shouldn't be face checking that anyway.
This looks like you could maybe get some kills, maybe one kill. Okay, I don't really like the bubble here, mainly because like if you think about a 2v2 versus Ori Rakan, like Ori is the only person that has threat. If you bubble Rakan and kill him and you use all your spells on Rakan, like it doesn't matter because Ori doesn't take any damage, right?
Mhm.
So you shouldn't
Yeah.
even be looking for a bubble on Rakan. You should literally just be like finding a way, just like either holding it until Ori gets hit by Norq or something, or just keeping it for threat. Yeah, also, you're just, like, too scared of this Rakan. Like, if this guy CCs you, I don't think it matters. I don't think Ori can kill you, like, literally 100-0. And you spend a lot of time kind of getting zoned off, I think.
Walking away. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like here, like, you're scared of Rakan, but it's like, I don't think you really need to be. To be honest, the bubble actually turned out really well, because Ori can't walk that way, so that's kind of nice. But yeah, you walked away quite a bit. I think, yeah, just ignite to be safe. 1k gold, so that's pretty nice. You base. I think, okay, definitely there's like an argument for not pushing that bot wave before, but after you get a kill, like you definitely push this bot wave. Like this is
Mhm.
super
Yeah.
free. Like they have two people dead, Urgot's top. So right now you should probably push one, maybe two bot waves. I feel like you could probably get two before you get punished for it. The only thing you'd have to be scared of is if they start this Baron, because like with Vayne respawning, and like Diana, they probably could do Baron if you base too late, and you don't have any vision of it. So I guess maybe you can't do two ways because you're a little scared of the Baron. But either way, you push at least one. Or actually,
Mhm.
if you push
Okay.
one, I think yeah, because this tower is still up. You could push one, take that bot tower, and then immediately base, and I think you'd be back in time. Yeah, now this sucks because like you kind of have to go bot, but also you don't
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
TP, and they
It
have like
sucks.
really high Baron threat. So I don't know. I guess the best thing to do is to ping your Wukong to go bot, but I don't know. I feel like this just sucks for everyone. But at least you're getting farms. So I agree with what you did here. I think macro wise it's suboptimal, but there's like nothing better you can do. Um, and I think yeah, to be honest, I would probably walk to this as well. Like you know your team's gonna get into a fight. It's just the way solo queue works. It sucks, but anyway. So you come to this fight. I think you used the prior pretty well. You could probably get this mid tower. Or maybe Baron? No, you don't have a jungler, right?
Yeah, we don't have jungle.
I think also if you'd realized a bit earlier, maybe you could have got this mid tower. Because, like, let's see.
Yeah. Yeah. I could have gotten it
It's
myself.
like, yeah, it's Ori's walking around. And you have your Banshee, so it's quite hard for Ori to actually do something to you. Because she has to hit a couple spells. So Ori manages to hold this wave.
I think she does. Yeah.
And
Rakan should be
actually,
coming already.
maybe here, okay, if you do this, I think yeah, like you actually click top. I think you commit to that. I think you do just push that top wave all the way in. Because again, it's like they're dead and you could definitely get a side wave. But once again, you're just like sharing golden XP. Like, even if you get stuff out of this, you just get more. Like, okay, say instead of doing this, you went like top wave and then blue and then base maybe, or top lane blue and then mid or something like that. Because you can always come back and do this later after you get the top prior. So yeah, I think you would have got a lot more gold there if you'd just gone top. I guess, yeah, the two things you do are either right now you realize that Orianna's not defending mid, maybe you can get it, or you run straight top and you just play to get it a bit later. But it's like, if we look at this whole time period, right? From bot, you have 163 CS right now. So you come mid, you only get 3, and then you share a wave with Aphelios. So you farm like a wave in the past like minute and a half. And then here you don't get any of this wave. So like during this whole 2 minutes, you farm like what, like 6 creeps. And also
Yeah,
you
like
like
that.
took some of Aphelios' farm as well. So I think, yeah, the way to make
Yeah.
this super efficient macro-wise, probably you just one-shot this mid-wave, run straight top, push that in, farm blue, then use your time to hit mid-tower. I think, yeah, that looks way better. You and Aphelios both end up with more farm. They
Yeah.
probably lose more farm. Because, yeah, you would deny Baron. I mean, blue buff, you deny the top wave.
Yeah, I realized this game, and in part is why I linked it to you, is because when I realize Orianna is level 15 and I'm
Yeah,
level 13, and I
yeah,
realize, wow, I press tab and I say, wow, something strange
yeah.
and serious happened here.
Yeah, no,
And
that's
I
actually the
wanted
worst
to
feeling.
identify. Yeah, exactly.
I hate being down levels. It actually feels worse than being down kills. I don't know why. It's just like you look so weak. I don't know. Okay, so you part here. I think this is now. Do we want this or not? Where did you use your bubble? I mean, I like that. At this point, you don't know they're doing Baron, so I think that's fine. Like, yeah, you didn't really know. Is there anything you can do better here? Rakan blocked it, so I don't think so. Where's your bubble go? Your bubble hit the Baron? Can't quite tell.
I think so.
Yeah, it looks like bubble hit. Well, I can't tell, to be honest.
No, it's in the ground.
Oh, yeah,
It's in
you're
the
right.
ground.
You're right. Okay, I mean, I think you played this as well as you could have. I don't. Is there anything else you could have done with your flash?
Do you think I should flash in?
Nah, I don't know, because it's like, unless you can
Like,
bubble Diana before she gets the Baron, like, I don't think you can, right? The only, like, possible way, maybe, is that instead of queuing over this wall, you look for an E through here, and maybe it hits Diana, but, like, hmm. Yeah, actually, no, I think you could do that. I think if you walk here and bubble through this wall, they give you a slightly higher chance of getting this, but, like,
yeah.
it's real low, right? Like, we're definitely talking, like, 1% difference. Either way, I mean, I think it's kind of good for your team anyway. Like, you get 3 kills, you get a shutdown, I'm pretty sure. You get Dragon and everything. Now, what did you do after? Again, they're dead.
Do
I
you think I
think,
should go top here?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
okay.
you maximize your farm. I think it could be Wukong can probably go bot, so I think, yeah, you go top. You probably just like, I'm not sure you can contest Ori 1v1 because you're so far behind, but you could at least catch the wave. Like, your team definitely doesn't need help doing Dragon. And actually, yeah, now that I see Rakan there, you would have to be quite careful. Like, if you're farming this top wave, you probably just catch it and do Krugs or something. But you would have to be quite careful pushing this on weak side because they probably would look to trade. But honestly, this doesn't turn out too bad. Like, Wukong farms top, you get the dragon, you get the bot wave, you push 2, you base. Okay, so that's like pretty good. Like, maybe it could have been a tiny bit better, but it's like way better than the rest of your side laning, right? Like, you had a lot of times where you gave up tons of CS, but this one it's like, maybe if you go top and get Krugs, you get like maybe like 5 or 6 more CS, but at least you actually got farm for once, so that's good.
Yeah.
So you take the blue. It would be nice to push bot, but your team just engages mid. That's super weird, but solo queue, so yeah. I think you're right to walk mid. I mean, to be honest, it
I,
could
I,
be
I saw Graves walking mid
a.
here too, and
Yeah.
I thought he was coming.
Hmm. Yeah, no, that's awkward. That's really
This fight is
awkward.
super bad. It's super bad for me.
I guess here maybe the bigger problem is that you need to make a decision a bit quicker. I think you're right to walk to this because I think if you and Graves walk to this mid fight and Vayne can't get there, it should be pretty good, like 5v4. But yeah, I guess maybe at this point, you kind of just have to commit to something, whether it's like helping Graves or helping helping your team. Okay. Not too bad again. I'm wondering if I don't even think you should ult forward here again though.
Yeah, just walk up,
Yeah, yeah. It was also, yeah, I don't know, it was like super weird from everyone. Like your Graves, this is like randomly 1v1ing a Vayne, your team's engaging like 3v4 mid. It's so weird, man. I hate solo queue.
Do you think I should go Death Cap here?
Let's see, whether you press tab, I think they have one, yeah, I think you do. The only MR is like there's one MR on Ori, and then the only other MR is on, what's this guy called? Rakan.
Rakan.
Yeah, I think you are quite, yeah, you're just behind for a lot of reasons. Like you're down a lot of gold and XP because you just like missed it. Then also like you've given over some kills to them, and then yeah, I think building Mercs and Banshees, like you said, is pretty troll. So it's just gonna be really hard. I'm sure you realize like at this point in the game, Orianna's just gonna massively outperform
Yeah,
you
she's
in a team
gonna
fight.
ER and destroy, QR and destroy
Yeah,
us.
yeah, and it's so easy for her to do that compared to like playing Zoe from behind, you know? Like if you're ahead on
Yeah.
Zoe, it's pretty easy, I think, but that was actually a smart bubble, I think. That was good. I'm actually wondering, do you need a flash? Because you have your
If he has
Banshees.
ult, yeah,
Oh yeah,
if he
no,
has
you're right.
ult, I think I
And
die.
also, yeah, I think even if he doesn't have ult, like if he walks up to you and just Qs you and then knocks you out, right? You're still dead,
Yeah.
so. Actually, to be honest, what you should do is you should no, you can't. I was gonna say like maybe you should wait for him to pop his ult, but if he like literally walks on top of you, like there's no way you can react in time. So yeah. Is there any way you can know he doesn't have ult? Like there was a fight mid, but it's like 40 seconds and then like another 20. I think it's realistic to expect he has it. I guess actually the bigger problem here is that they base as well, right? Let's see. Hold on, let's go back. So right now, okay, so they actually didn't base, I'm guessing? Yes, they didn't base. They're staying on the map. And you don't have any vision of that, so it is quite hard to tell. Because I would have thought they'd base here as well. I guess maybe you could look at this from the point of view that it can be hard to, again, like sort of push out on weak side. Like your support is pathing top, your jungler is top, your AD carries hugging top, so it definitely looks like bot's pretty unsafe at the moment, but if they had base, then it would be safe, right? So I guess the reality is you just don't know. It's kind of hard, yeah.
I think we
Oh,
see
wait, here you see
we see
Rakan.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So you just didn't see this on the map, or you just didn't think anyone else would be here?
I think I didn't see it,
Hmm.
honestly.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, okay, so you do actually see him. You could back off, so you keep your flash, but... So you come mid out of base. I think, yeah, you kind of have to do this. Like, to regain bot control, you kind of have to go through mid. Like, you can't really walk to the side lane with no flash. And, like, you should be able to get mid control here, but you're going to lose both your sideways. But, yeah, I think that's basically all that can happen here.
I think we should look for a super engage here, no?
Yeah, I mean, if you can, but, like, I'm not sure you
Yeah,
can.
it's pretty hard for us.
If Nort has flash, maybe? But to be honest, it's not too bad. Like, if you clear this wave, retake a little bit of bot control like you do, and then go back to your waves, I actually think this isn't too bad, because at least now you have a bit of bot control. You just need to kind of defend where they have tempo right here. So as long as you guys don't die, like, right now, it should be fine. But it looks like Graves is just, again, just like 1v1ing Vayne in the side lane. And that doesn't work out too well normally.
I think he tilted in the early game, so he didn't give a fuck about the game anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, now...
Solo queue things, I guess.
Super hard to play versus Ori like this. Okay, yeah, the game ends. Okay. So I think for you,
Yeah.
it's like, well, obviously you're like 600 LP, right? So you're already quite good, but for you it's gonna be like fixing all the bad habits you have, I suppose. So like I'm gonna talk about like a list of them. So the first one is you have like, so you hug the wrong side, slash like don't recognize like weak side slash strong side quite a lot. And so there's a lot of times where like either you walk into places with no vision or you're like hugging the wrong side, and that causes you to die. I think this is like a really big one. And the way to kind of actually, this is going to go for the second one as well. So the other one is that when you push the wave, so like when otherwise like when you have prior, I think it's like two things. It's like one, you don't realize the best play. So like you get a wave of prior and you're not quite sure what to do with it. But also you also make the decision. Oh, this is gonna go on a new line. Okay, let's do it like this. You make the decision with your prior too late. So even if you make the suboptimal play, right? Like even if you go to the wrong place, if you go there quicker and like earlier, oftentimes it'll work out, right? So I think a good habit for you to build is like, so when the new wave comes mid, which is basically like, okay, so if you think like here, when each new wave comes mid, right? I think you should make it a habit in your head to like, okay, quickly like check the map for like vision slash like jungle position. Basically just like take a quick look at the map. I mean, you already know what you're looking for, so I don't need to explain it to you, but you know, like you just quickly look at the map, see where your vision is, see where your jungler is, and then I guess like decide, yeah, like decide which side to hug. And then also when that new wave comes and you start pushing the next wave, like decide also what you're going to use this wave for. So I think ideally by this point you have a good idea of like which side you want to hug to on this wave, and also what you're gonna want to do with this wave of prior. And I think that'll like go a pretty long way into like avoiding deaths and you know, making sure you're actually making the proactive plays. And yeah, I guess as like a general rule, so I guess that's the habit stuff, but I'm gonna just say like more generally, like I mean you already know, right? Like playing towards strong sides, like your jungler will typically go better than if you play towards the weak side. And yeah, like especially when you contested that dragon, you already know it was bad, but that was like super game breaking, I think, because they got so much off that they probably shouldn't have gotten. Yeah, I'm gonna say the itemization a little bit as well. So like itemization, I think just like no CC AP mid jungle, just buy like null magic mantle, and like you can go banshees later, but I don't think you go merc treads. I think that's kind of a waste.
Okay.
Yeah, and I guess like matchup specifically, you shouldn't like R forward without a sum, basically. So if you remember that time where like the locket was on the ground, and you could have like walked up and got it, and then like later on it would have been really good for you. And I guess like yeah, another thing for you to consider is just like how do I put this, like I know it's more like resource war or something. So like remember when you chunked that Ori super low and you were like high HP and high mana, but you're not really you can't in the matchup, you can't just immediately go under her tower and kill her because like she outranges you, she does well into you when you ult forward. But in that sort of situation, you were so far ahead in resources, like health and mana, that you could have just like slowly made it unplayable for her. Like if you just kept her pinned under tower. So I guess like think about things to punish that aren't just like killing your opponent, I guess, right? Like you can play a bit slower if you need to. Now what else did you have? Just skim through it. Oh yeah, so I think your warding, you could get a lot more value with your warding. So like if you get prior, try get wards on camps. This is like really, really big in high elo. I don't think it's as important in low elo because people are going to see the jungler on camps and not know what to do with it, right? But like even if your Graves is like a bad player or whatever, by this point in his rank, right? Like he's going to know what to do if he sees Diana on Raptors, right? Like he's high enough level to realize that, even if he's dumb or whatever. And there was also that time where like if you had warded deeper, you probably would have killed Diana. And again, and like it just gives so much more info to your team. So if you ever get prior, you should consider it like extremely valuable to get wards on enemy camps. If you can ever get that, basically, it goes a really long way. And you kind of just like, yeah, you never really got wards to where they're crazy I mean, yeah, this again was like playing to the weak side. And maybe if you had more resources, yeah, maybe if you'd had your sums, it would have worked out. Oh yeah, okay, so that was most of the early game. Now I remember. So this was again like hugging the wrong
Hugging the
sides.
wrong side.
Yeah, happens a lot to you. This again should have been a death from hugging the wrong side. So yeah, I would have been. This was playing to the wrong side. So yeah, that's a really big thing for you. Maybe that should be under a habit as well. I guess maybe you should. How would I make that a habit? I guess like, because that's like, playing. What's a good way to make this into a habit? I guess maybe just way you could do it is like I don't know, maybe just whenever you have prior, like think about what side your team is playing to. I think that, yeah, maybe that's the best way to do it. So you have a habit, you have like a habit here of when the new wave comes, like to do something. But maybe like when you do get prior, like just like check what side to play to, because I think it's really easy. Like obviously it's easy in hindsight to check this, right? But I think if you actually thought about this in the game, like you would realize that doing this is really dumb, right? And you said it in the
Yeah.
review that you know this is dumb, and I think yeah, it's like it's easy to see. So I think if you'd actually just like had the trigger to think about it, you probably would have avoided that death. Then all this was fine. Maybe you could have saved Flash here. It was very Zoe. I'll write it down. Just like Zoe specific, like using your R to dodge things. Like doesn't happen that often, but like Diana and Ori, there's a couple of champs that you can do it against. Oh yeah, so this is kind of when the mid-game troubles started, so I'm gonna write a mid-game section. So the first thing is like you need to think, well, first off, you need to if you're sharing gold XP, it should feel really bad. I've said this to a lot of people already, so it's definitely not just you that suffers from this, but like this should feel awful to you when you're just like sieging a lane with everyone else on your team and none of you are farming. It should feel really bad, because to be honest, at this point in the game, your CS for having 2 deaths is actually pretty good, you know? Like, you're 3-2-0, you've had 2 deaths, so each death is probably like down 10 CS or so. So 120 at 15 for Zoe with 2 deaths is actually fine. But the problem is that after this, you just stop farming altogether. Like, look, so we have 120 at 15 minutes. Let's just go to like 25 minutes. You've only farmed like 60-ish CS in this 10-minute window, which is like pretty low. And then if we go to the very end of the game, yeah, you're like down 80 CS to the clock. So it's pretty punishing. I guess, yeah, it's like one, sharing XP and gold should be really bad. You should be way more aware of your side waves. I think even if you're just thinking about where your side waves are, it's kind of naturally gonna lead to you having more farm. Here, like you already know. And you actually, I think you assessed this better than I did, like realizing that your entire team was off the map. It was just like really risky. So, pathing mid. I mean, that was fine. Your ADC died, so you get to farm that. Farm bot. Oh yeah, I think yeah. Also, just like be more aggressive on the side waves. So there's yeah a lot of times where you don't push the extra wave. I think think about like enemy jungle support plus like your jungle support. So if you ever see like say the enemy jungle and support, it's really free for you to push waves. And also just realize that like, okay, even if this like might be risky, right? But you should realize what the risk rewards you with. Like if it is a risky wave, maybe you should risk it anyway, because what you're gonna get is they have to answer the bot wave. Their bot tower probably dies. You should get river control. Ideally, you have a pink and a yellow ward. So this should give you control for this like drag. So getting this wave should it should change this objective fight a lot. And that's another thing I want to write. Is so like side waves before or like 1 minute before dragon are really important. Like a lot of the time just pushing the side wave is just for farm, right? But before before any objective really. Before any objective, they create a lot of pressure because they force people to answer while you get to they like allows you to retake control. And if you're playing a champion like Zoe that's very reliant on having like vision control, then it's really important that you kind of manage the sideways well. Because if you're playing a champion that, well, say you're playing Orianna, right? Like Orianna can walk into basically any fight and be fine. It's better if Orianna can hold a choke, but it's like it's not like she has to. But Zoe, if you just walk into a fight as Zoe, you can end up being like super useless. So yeah, I think that would have gone a long way. But then like you still, oh yeah, I'm also gonna say in your team fighting. So team fighting, I think your target prioritization, or actually no, it's not even that. It's like threat assessment. So like here, you could have realized that Rakan is like literally no threat to you. He doesn't matter the fight, and he doesn't matter to you. Instead, you like use your bubble on him, and you're scared of him. So it's like, yeah, you don't even realize that this guy isn't a threat at this point. But you get the 1K, so that was good. Come back. I think you pushed bot, which was great. Your team fought. You kind of pushed it as far as you could. Oh yeah, and here was another thing, but we've already talked about it. It's like, again, you're sharing golden XP. You're not really aware of the side waves. Kind of just, yeah, it's like, it was a whole 2 minutes, basically, of just no farming. And they got Baron. I mean, even after this point, the game is still pretty winnable. I think here, you could have... You know, if you are scared of going top here, you could just run straight bot as well and farm that wave. But again, it's just like you didn't farm anything for a long time. Like, I think that bot wave killed a bot wave that was coming before you even got to it, just because you left the crease for too long. But overall, that was pretty good. You come on the map. This is kind of hard. I guess maybe... Again, it's Zoe specific. You have like a sort of bad habit of ulting forward.
Yeah.
I think that'll come with more Zoe games, though. I don't think you need to worry too much about that. It was definitely, when I first started playing Zoe, there's one thing I remember in particular, which was like, I would always ult forward and get Leona ulted. Like, I don't know why that specifically,
Well,
but just every
that
time.
specifically happened to me yesterday in a scrim. Like
Okay.
I slept somebody, I queued R into him to poke, and I got instantly on ulted and died, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
that exact thing.
I'm
Yeah, I
glad
think
that
I should.
happens to other people.
Yeah, I guess I should hold my R
Yeah.
somewhat more.
Yeah, this, I mean, this was a bit of just like blindness.
Yeah, not map being aware
Yeah.
of the map. Yeah.
I don't think that's the biggest deal, though. That's another thing. It's like easy for you to work on, I think. You just need to kind of practice it. And yeah, this point in the game, it's like pretty much fucked. To be honest, I don't think you can really play the game out from this point. Okay, well, do you have any questions about anything? Or just like general
mm,
questions?
yeah, I kind of have a general question about my champion pool.
Oh yeah, let me bring up your OPGG.
Okay.
Yeah, these two here. Yeah, you wanted... Oops, that's the wrong thing. You wanted to play competitive, right? Or you already play scrims? Or
Yeah, I
are you in
play
like ERL or anything? Or
I play like in third division, like amateur
oh,
sim,
okay,
you know.
okay.
But I'm trying to get some elo before trying out
Yeah,
on ERL.
yeah. I think if you get like, it's just like a general thing. If you get like 1,000 LP, you at least get trials. You know, I feel like 1,000
Yeah.
LP is like the gold standard. Okay, well if
But
I...
there's
Oh,
a
you...
we have a problem in EU West with the elo right now.
Oh, because of Magi Felix, right?
Yeah, this guy is destroying it. And there's another trend in US, I don't know if you know about it, that people go to Uni or Turkey
Oh, the
or
transfer
Russia.
thing.
Yeah, they transfer, they play placement, get MMR, and come back.
Yeah, yeah.
And they inflate the ladder so much.
Yeah, I've seen that. No, that's super annoying. So is the other LP gains like really low?
Mm, I have my account pretty clean. I get like 17, I lose 17, so it's
Okay,
fine
yeah,
for
that's
me.
fine.
But I heard from some people that are starting to win like 14, 13 points and starting to lose about 20.
Oh, that's so
Because,
bad.
yeah, and I think it's because of both things, the transfer problem
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Magic Felix incident, you know.
Magic Felix incident. I like that. Okay, so if I look at your champion pool here,
Uh, yeah, I basically in my Smurf I basically train champs and play
yeah,
inting. I basically int on my Smurf. So
yeah, no, that's
you see
fair.
LeBlanc win rate, Syndra win rate. That's basically from inting games
Yeah,
because I don't really care. I only want to test limits on the
yeah, no, that
champions.
I think that's how it should be. I always felt like when I was like playing on Smurf accounts that were like way lower elo than I should have been. You know, like I'd get an
Yeah.
account stuck in like Diamond 3 first timing a champ, but eventually you just like get better at them. I don't think there's any problem with this, and actually I think it's better. I think it's better that your Smurf is like high elo. You know, like if you play this
Yeah.
in like bronze, okay, not bronze. If you play this in like platinum or diamond, like you're gonna win no matter what because you're just way better. But I think this is good because like if you play it in master, like you're still gonna learn a lot and get tested a lot. Now I'd say the main things that look like they're kind of missing from your champion pool is it doesn't look like you have any AD picks, so that is gonna be a bit of a problem if it's like an AP jungle meta. Like it's not really a problem right now, but if for example like there was a meta where it was like Talia, Lilia, and what was the other? There was like one other strong AP jungler. Well, anyway, it doesn't really matter. The point is that at the moment, like a lot of AD junglers are being played, but if it goes back to kind of like where AP junglers are being played, you're kind of gonna need more AD picks. Like let me just look. Like champions.
No, I don't play AD picks this season. Because of the AD meta junglers.
Oh, okay, so you did play him in the past? Oh yeah, you've got Yasuo here.
Yeah.
Yasuo. Looks like maybe you can play your own, maybe you can't. 6.5 deaths, we don't know. Talon. What about
Yeah.
your main? Because you probably
That's
would
a
have played on
smart.
this more, right?
Yeah.
Yasuo. So you can play Yasuo. I would probably try add another one. I'd like Yasuo is a good one to have if you are good at him because then you can play kind of like cheesier stuff like Yasuo Diana or like Yasuo Gragas, and that goes a long way. Oh yeah, Diana was the other champ I was trying to think of. But yeah, I would say you should try on your Smurf add like maybe add more Yone or add Lucian or something. Just have another AD pick. Aurelia could be another one if you really
I
like
have
playing her.
Irelia.
Okay,
Yeah. I
yeah.
usually play her on scrims.
Okay, yeah, cool. I mean, if you're, that's kind of just, yeah, what I can tell from your OPGG. Is there any, like, so do you have any questions about your champion pool, or is it more like you just wanted me to
Hmm.
check the, because
No,
I
just to
think,
review it.
yeah, I think it looks like you play most of the meta, right? Like, maybe you could have more games on Ari, but she might be banned a lot. I don't know.
She's perma-banned in
Yeah,
my
okay, I thought
scrims,
so. She would be
so
so OP. I mean, yeah, like, you play most of the meta, you can play roaming champs, you can play, like, some of the mages. You have decent counter picks, right? Like you've got Fizz and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I think your champion pool is looking good. You probably do just need to play some more on them, you know? Like champions like LeBlanc and Syndra, they do take quite a lot of games. Like they're pretty hard champs to play in high low because, well, like LeBlanc has a pretty, I don't know, she's just like very punishable if you make mistakes when you're learning. And like Syndra also pretty punishable. But yeah, they'll go a long way if you kind of master them. But yeah, I don't know. I think your champ pool's in a pretty good spot as long as you can play AD champs. And it's good if like what you're doing here, you're kind of just like spamming one champ at a time. This is Zoe support, looks like. Just playing it every
yeah,
game. I like that. Yeah, no, I think it's
yeah.
good. One thing, I don't know how much you do it, but it might be better for you to also watch more VODs rather than just spamming games. Like, yeah, I don't know how many VODs you watch, but like for example, one thing I would do a lot is I would just go to say like the Korean OPGG, right? And I would just go to like whoever's the highest ranked mid at the time. So like, okay, right now Showmaker, and then just like look and see if he's playing any champs that you play and just watch the replays. So like for example, if you're at the moment learning Ari or you're learning Yone or whatever, just like download the replay and just watch it. And then over time, you'll just get better at a lot of champs. And to be honest, if you do watch a lot of VODs, you'll find yourself getting quite good at champs that you don't even play. Like that was one thing for me. It was like um, with LeBlanc, like there was a long time where I was like super shit at LeBlanc, and I just like stopped playing LeBlanc for a long time. But during that time where I stopped playing her, I still like watched VODs, and then I kind of came back to playing LeBlanc a year later, and I was actually like quite good at her because I just kind of passively learned. So yeah, I don't know how much time you spend watching VODs, but if you do just like watch a couple VODs and take a look at kind of like what they're doing, it would go a long way. And also another thing I don't know if you do is after you play like a scrim or something, do you ever look up the matchup? Like if you play a matchup in scrims, I always recommend just coming to YouTube and literally just searching the matchup. Like I would do that all the time. It's like,
Yeah, I
or even
usually do
after
it.
this game, like just like Zoe versus Orianna, like KR Challenger or something, and just like yeah, like literally just like watch a couple of these and see if they play it any differently than you. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
do you recommend doing it after the game?
It's up to you. Like you can do it either straight after, or you can do it later when you kind of have like a better like mindset. You know, like if you're really tilted, maybe it would be hard for you to, to kind of like assess it properly. But yeah,
Okay.
I think just at some point, or you don't even have to do it straight after a game. You can literally do it at another time. But the main point should be that you should not just rely on your own matchup experience because you could be playing the matchups wrong, right? Like if say you play, let's just take a really easy matchup. Let's say you play something like Zoe versus Corki, and somehow you take away that Corki is actually good into Zoe, right? But the reality is that Zoe shits on Corki. So if you just
Yeah.
rely on just your own matchup experience, it might be that like the way you play the matchup or the way you play against certain types of champs leads you to the matchup being hard. Like, okay, actually, a good example of this is so if you play like pretty much any champion versus Syndra and you don't build Merc trades, it's very, very difficult, right? Because like Syndra has a lot of AP damage. She like has a lot of skill shots, so the movement speed goes a long way. And also the tenacity from Merc trades is really helpful because if she hits the stun and you have tenacity, normally you can get away before getting hit by a second Q. So something like that, if you didn't know that, you could play certain matchups into Syndra thinking they're like really, really hard matchups. But then as soon as you know that, it becomes suddenly like a playable matchup, right? So you just, I don't know. The main point is just you really need to find, especially at your level, you need to find other ways as well to kind of increase your matchup knowledge. You shouldn't just rely on solo queue because like one, you won't play it perfectly, and two, your opponent's not going to play it perfectly either. Like that Orianna probably should have been freezing on you a lot more when you had no flash. Like she was giving you waves back for free. But definitely in like higher Korean challenger, the matchups are going to go a bit closer to what they're meant to go like. But yeah, hopefully that'll kind of do it.
Okay, okay. And do you think it's better to watch what from the spectator or from the POV if there's
Um,
an streaming?
I think if there is a POV, you should watch it from their POV. But I think it doesn't matter too much for stuff like laning, honestly. I feel like stuff like side laning is really important to have their POV because you need to see like their vision and like what information they have access to. But I think just for laning, like pure 1v1, I don't think it's that important. Um, but yeah, like normally there's just like both, right? Like there's a lot of people or a lot of like the Korean streams like Showmaker streams or Chovy streams or whatever. And then also you can just go on their OPGG and download the spectator VODs.
Okay, okay.
All right. Any other question? I'll copy paste this to you as well on Discord so that you have this. I'll send it to you on Fiverr as well, but I'll just put it here anyway.
It's okay. Just keep it here. I
Yeah.
don't need it on fire.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, okay. Actually, what I'll quickly do, I'll put on like so in order to work on, so like what I think is most important. I guess I'll send this to you at the end
Okay.
as well. I think the most important thing for you to do is build habits around waves. So like you should
Okay.
the way I think habits work is you have like something that happens in the game which acts as like a trigger for you to remember to think about something. So if we took it out of the game, like just a real life example, it could be something like you know how they train dogs, like whenever they ring a bell they like salivate because they want the food, right? It's
Yeah.
like the same sort of thing you can build in your head, that when the new wave comes, like you think about like which side to hug and like what to do with prior. And then you should build another habit if possible around like once you have prior, like which side you're playing to. I think these like building these habits will save you a lot of deaths and make sure you're actually like putting your pressure to the right part of the map. Like yeah, that'll kind of like make this whole part a lot easier. All this general stuff is a bit more specific, so it's hard to make just a general thing. I guess another thing would be I think your warding actually is like very important to work on. So like trying to create high value wards, and something you should do is if you ever place a ward and you feel like it just didn't get any value, maybe just like think next time if you can place it like a little deeper. But yeah, like vision is so OP in higher elo because people actually know what to do with the information. I feel like in low elo wards, they're useful for protecting yourself, but they don't really help your team. But in high elo, wards actually help your team as well, which is like pretty OP. See, I'd say the warding, you should think about that a lot. And then lastly, in the mid game, just like just like making sure you get farm pretty much. So it's gonna be like pushing limits on the side lane, like not sharing gold XP. I think yeah, these are the I'll copy paste these two. I think these are the biggest things for you to work on that will make like the biggest difference in the shortest amount of time. But it is like hard to work on them, right? Like these are big things
Yeah,
to work on,
it's
but
gonna take some time to build that
yeah,
in, I think.
exactly. Yeah. I think probably the easiest way to do it is like play a game on your Smurf and maybe play a champion that you're comfortable with so that you don't really need to think about it. And literally just you could even set a timer for every 30 seconds so that when the wave comes out, like the timer makes a noise and then you think about it. Or you could just like try be like really focused on every time the wave comes, like actively thinking about something. But yeah, I would say do it on a Smurf and do it with a champion you're comfortable on. And that'll make it a lot easier to get into the habit. Because like, at this level, you make a small mistake and you get punished very hard for it. But if you have good habits, you'll just like naturally avoid them. You won't even need to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay, I'll focus on that then.
Okay, yeah. If you have any like problems like working on it or whatever, you can just message me and maybe I can give you like more advice or whatever. Or if there's any like trouble you run into. But yeah, hopefully just overall it was helpful for you. I think we covered quite a lot, so
Yeah, it was definitely.
all right, cool man. Well, if you don't have any other questions, I think we're all good.
Okay, all good by me as well.
All right. Well, nice to meet you, and good luck on the climb. And lastly, yeah, any questions, just message me, okay?
Okay, thank you
All
very
right. See you
much.
later, man. Good luck.
Goodbye.